Ray and I went to Podfest. Xbox games might be coming to PS5. Ray's been playing Palworld, so that's interesting. And Mr. Beast hurt my feelings. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Just Because Gaming channel. My name is Michael.
And I'm Ray, and thank you for joining us today.
So, Ray and I went to Podfest recently. It's a convention in Orlando, basically built to help podcasters get better and learn more about like the technology and what goes into it. And it was interesting.
Yeah, it was very informative. We learned a lot of stuff. Saw a lot of equipment we cannot afford. Microphones we'd love to have. Nice little podcasting table set up. I'm gonna have to try and build one of those for us.
Hmm. Good luck with that.
Um, yeah, we did get some extra views. A group called MowPod kind of gave us a publicity run, and it got us about 140 extra views, or listens. So that was cool. So hopefully a lot of you come back and check us out again.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, the most recent YouTube video that we had actually did really well. It was our highest performing one, so that's cool. But also, just as a side note, just because this is stuff I appreciate, we got so much like swag and stuff. Like this is from Buzzsprout, which is our sponsor, and yeah, all kinds of like little stickers and stuff. All kinds of little goodies. So that was interesting. There's definitely a lot of little swag for aspiring podcasters, and which is, I mean, exactly what we are. Because Ray, we've only been doing this for about audio version. We've been doing it for about a year, but video version, this will be like our sixth one, I think.
Sixth or seventh, yeah. It isn't very many.
But it's coming along and we're getting more and more views, and I definitely want to shout out MowPod. I don't think I have any of their stuff here. No, I don't have any of their little goodies. I think I have a shirt from them. You got a shirt too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we got a shirt. I gave it to one of my daughters
Yeah.
because it wasn't
but
going to fit me.
but yeah, it was cool. They were super nice people. One of the really interesting and different thing about it is, Ray, I don't know if you remember, but when we walked up, first thing he did is he was like, "Hey, you guys want to sit down and have a beer?"
We're like, yes, yes, we do.
And yeah, so we just sat down. The guy gave us he gave each of us a shirt, and we just sat down and had a beer with him. And he talked about what they do is they're basically an advertising firm, and they show your podcast, whether it's audio or video or whatever. They show it by putting ads out, basically directing the ad click to that specific video or audio. And that's what we did. They gave us a free $100 ad credit, got us a bunch of listens, and it was well worth it. I mean, just in that alone, definitely paid for the ticket. So that was really cool. It was really fun. What about you, Ray? Did you have fun doing it?
Oh yeah, it was a blast and a good learning experience for us. We learned a lot about what is it, the search engine optimization and things like that. Hopefully, that'll help us grow our audience and get better at making these podcasts.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely taught us some like tips and tricks to, kind of get ourselves out there and hopefully build up this very small but mighty community that we have. Because one day, and Ray and I were talking about this last week, one day, if we can get our numbers up and start, being monetized and being able to get some money for this, we want to give back to you all and do giveaways where, we're giving away Xbox or PlayStation gift cards. And then, hell, who knows? Maybe if we get bigger, we'll actually give away monthly Xboxes and PlayStations. And who knows, if we get to Mr. Beast level, we'll give away Xbox and PlayStation Lamborghinis. But that's neither here nor there right now. We're just a small video and audio podcast. And whether you're watching us on YouTube or listening to us through one of the podcasting services, we definitely appreciate y'all listening and or watching us, and we appreciate our community, and we hope to keep getting better and better and better. And going to Podfest, I feel like really helped us. Plus, there was an awesome car there.
Oh yeah, the Tesla with the Dolby Atmos sound that they put in there, and he played several audiobooks and things. And it's just I've used the Dolby Atmos in the headphones before, like I've talked to you about with Hellblade. It really, you can hear all the voices around your head and everything, which was really cool. Definitely the best way to play that game, which Mike eventually will try, I'm sure.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I have it on my radar now, so I will play. Before I just looked at it as kind of like a weird game, but now I mean, since you're vouching for it, and I
Plus, you can try the Dolby Atmos out with it, and you can really kind of get the full experience, which is cool.
yes, yes, I will. But yeah, the interesting thing about that was that vehicle, the people that owned that vehicle on behalf of Dolby Atmos, they basically gutted out a lot of the speakers and the stuff in there and put in Dolby Atmos speakers. So for most gamers, they know the value of a good headset because you can hear people sneaking up on you from different directions. This gave you that same experience just without having to have headphones on. So when he played, there was one horror podcast. I don't remember what the name of it was, but he played a horror podcast and you could hear someone creeping up in the woods. And there was a girl that went into a basement.
Put her in the
And
basement.
you could
As she crawled down the ladder, you could hear her dad talking and getting further and further away from as she went down the ladder. So, yeah, it
and
was
you
really
could
cool.
hear her stepping down the steps and the sound went lower. It'd be like click 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 click, click sounding farther and farther away. So that was really cool. I love that. I tried to sweet talk and be like, hey, is there a raffle that I could get this car? But no. but uh but yeah, so that was fun. That was fun. So speaking about Hellblade 2, one of the interesting news regarding that is that that game and a few others might actually be coming to PS5.
Yeah, I've heard about a few of them. That I'm talking about. Well, if originally they were talking about they wanted to have Game Pass on like PlayStation, Nintendo, Switch, on the different consoles. They've also talked about. I haven't really heard about Hellblade being moved over to PlayStation, but I know they were talking about doing was it Sea of Thieves and maybe the music game that just came out. It was actually pretty good. Hi-Fi Rush,
Yeah, Hi-Fi
but
Rush.
it's all rumor. I think Phil Spencer's come out and said that they don't really have any intention of doing that at this time. I can understand doing it for some of their games that just to build the audience. If it's a huge multiplayer game like say Grounded or one of those, I could see that because that way you've got a bigger player base.
Yeah,
Plus,
uh,
Microsoft is a software company. I mean, they're making their money off of the games from their studios. So, and PlayStation has a huge base of game consoles already out there, but they don't want to hurt their market share for the Xbox itself because if everybody can just play everything that Xbox has, they have no exclusives. They can play it on PlayStation 2. Why would they buy a Xbox? And you want to keep your
yeah,
console market strong.
yeah. And I mean that's a great point. One of the interesting things that I saw is they mentioned a lot of the games that were at the developer direct. So they mentioned like the one you mentioned, the Hi-Fi Rush, but they were also saying that Indiana Jones is probably going to go to PS5 and Starfield as well. So that might go to PS5.
If they do that, they'll have like what was it? Some of the games that they did on PlayStation, where a year later it came out on the Xbox. Like oh darn, I can't think of the name of some of the games. But there was another Bethesda game before this that they did that with, and okay, fine. I don't care if they do that a year later.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're doing that with Starfield, and I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna release some of their console exclusives, but not all of them. Like they're gonna keep some stuff close to the vest. Like they're never gonna let Halo go. I don't see that
No,
ever
no,
happening.
or Gears
But
either, for that matter.
actually,
No,
I read
I don't think it'll
something.
happen.
No,
Yeah.
I read it that Gears of War might be going to PS5, and yeah, I mean, if you have two massive shooters that your console is both known for, do you really need to keep both of them? I think they're definitely going to keep Halo because that is their baby. They fought tooth and nail for that. Like when 343 went to no, who was it that had Halo before? Bungie. When
Bungie.
Bungie went multi-console, 343 was like, no, we're keeping Halo. So Bungie essentially lost out on keeping Halo and making that go like multi-console. So Microsoft fought to keep Halo, but for Gears, that's kind of more mainstream. I feel like it doesn't necessarily scream Xbox to me.
Yeah.
So I could see that becoming a PS5 console because at the end of the day, with Xbox buying all these companies, they definitely are going to want to make that money back. And if
Oh
they have
yeah.
to sacrifice a couple games being console exclusive just to sell it to like Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5 just so that they could get extra money so that they can continue buying these franchises, because what they could do is eventually buy so many franchises and then cut it off, say any new IPs will just be for us, but we'll share all our old stuff.
Yeah.
I could see that being a thing.
I could also see it possibly say they might wait till the next generation of Xbox consoles comes out, and if because by then a lot of the new exclusives will have hit the market, and see if that makes a big difference in their console sales between Game Pass and new exclusives. Because by the what you figure the next console will be out in 3-4 years before another
Yeah.
console we see another Xbox console. By then you'll have multiple releases of exclusives on Xbox, and you'll be able to see the console sales affected by that.
Mhm.
But if it's not effective enough, then yeah, you'll see a bunch of things start to get moved onto the other consoles. It just
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. And I mean, there's going to be people out there that, they'll do a one for one comparative analysis and be like, oh, for PlayStation 6, look at how many console exclusives they have. And for Xbox, they barely have any console exclusives. But it's like, you have to realize the majority of those games that are being released that aren't console exclusive are still owned by Xbox. So they're still getting money off that. So it's
Right.
like, if you can't you've heard the expression, if you can't beat them, join them. Well, if Xbox can't beat PlayStation, then yeah, you might as well sell video games to them and them pay you. So that way, at the end of the day, whether you're playing games on Xbox or PlayStation, Microsoft's making their money. And what they could easily do, a great and underappreciated feature, is console specific downloadable content. So it's like if you have this game and you love it, so let's say for Starfield or Indiana Jones, they could make it so that, yeah, sure, it's on both consoles, but if you want to play the expanded story, that's only on Xbox. They could totally do that. They'll make their money off the core game and then make extra money on Xbox. And that, if you love that particular game, like let's say you're a live and die Starfield fan or Indiana Jones fan, and that is your favorite game ever, you will get the console that has the most content for that game.
Right.
So Xbox is actually in a pretty sweet position right now. And I mean, I would love to see a lot of these games on PlayStation 5 because I do have a PlayStation 5, and that would make it so that I could play these games with my PlayStation 5 friends. So, I mean, honestly, it's a win for everybody.
Well, it's definitely a win for us if they do that.
Yeah.
But then also, there's always a chance that PlayStation's going to say, you know what? We don't want to help you make this money. We want to choke your console even more. We're not going to let you put your games on our console. They don't have to do that. They
No,
could
but I
just
mean,
say, yeah, it's not making us that much more money. It's just helping you guys out more. Do we
I
want to
mean,
help out Xbox or do we want to try and crush them? That's
it's
you're talking about a
it's really
Japanese game console, and their companies think differently. It's not
it's
all bottom
really
dollar for them.
well, that's what I was going to say. At the end of the day, you know, Yeah, it's not specifically them that would be paying Xbox, but the customers that have a PlayStation 5 that would be buying games from Xbox. So I don't I don't see PlayStation shooting themselves in the foot that bad, but
I would hope not.
yeah, because I mean, from PlayStation's perspective, if you had the ability to have the other console that you're competing with, if you had the ability to have their games on your console, it would make your console look stronger. But for Xbox, it'll make their game library more valuable. So it's kind of like what's more important to you, selling games or selling consoles? Because if you're selling consoles, then PlayStation would have the competitive edge because they would have their console specific games and they would have a share of Xbox's games. But if you're looking at it dollars wise, you know, Xbox is still going to sell their consoles and people are still going to buy them. And then they're also going to make money from their games and PlayStation's games. So money wise, PlayStation or Xbox is going to win. Console wise, PlayStation's going to win. But I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, everybody's making money. So it's going to
Hopefully,
benefit
yeah.
everybody. And then for the video gamers, such as you, I, and anyone that plays Xbox or PlayStation, they're going to win because they get more games. So it's very interesting to see how this is going to play out. Speaking of interesting things, Ray's been playing Palworld, aka Pokemon with Guns, as I've heard it called. So how's
Yes,
that
yes.
going?
Better than I thought it would. I thought, well, it's on Game Pass. I'll try it out. It was a small download too. I think it was like 6 gigabytes. So it wasn't even a big download. Like, wasn't having very big expectations for this game since I'm like it's really tiny. I'm not really into Pokemon, but I'll try it out. I mean, it could be interesting. It's actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I've spent a lot more time in it than I intended to. It is a time suck of a game because it's that whole survival thing. So you've got to eat, you've got to sleep, you've got to craft a shelter, and all these kind of things, and you've got to catch these little critters that look like Pokemon, look a lot like Pokemon. They even have a little electric mouse looking thing that looks kind of like a Pikachu. But somehow it's different enough that they're not getting sued over this, evidently. And it is different. It's not the exact same thing. And you do have guns, not to start out with. You get basically an axe, a pickaxe for mining with. The axe you chop down trees, but you can use them as weapons against the pals too. You got to take their health down a little bit, and then you throw a sphere at them, a pal sphere, to try and capture them. Then you can take them back to your base and put them to work for you. So they each have different attributes. Like one will be good at planting seeds. One's good at watering the field, so you can build a place to grow food. Now you've got them collecting food for you as well as themselves. You have to build them a bed. You have to build workbenches to craft tools and weapons. And as you upgrade your character, you upgrade the things you can build. It's a typical survival game. Your base will get raided by sometimes other pals, sometimes other human beings that are in the game, and you can capture the humans and put them to work in your uh, camp as well. So yeah, that's not awkward at all.
Dude, that's dark. Being able to
Yeah.
capture
Oh,
other human
that's
beings.
not the darkest thing. You get to a point where you can build a butcher knife. So say you need certain types of meat or certain type of like there's these flaming foxes that have flame organs, and in order to build a furnace, say, to make metal ingots, you have to kill. You can either just kill wild ones and take their organs, or you can slaughter the ones that you have captured.
No,
And
dude.
I'm assuming I haven't tried it, but I'm assuming you can do it to the humans too.
Oh, dude, no, 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 no. what what kind of dystopian Pokemon game is
It,
this?
it, it's whack, but there's a lot of humor. It plays a lot of fun at the original Pokemon games and other games, survival games. Kind of pokes fun at them. The worst thing I've had to deal with in it is the building mechanic, I guess. Like when you're trying to build, how you build walls and things, and you build the floor and you build the walls and you've got to attach the ceiling. But getting things to attach sometimes for like no reason at all. I had one portion of ceiling that I could. It's a skylight now because there's no way I could put anything in it. And you can't, like, if you build a storage chest here and you decide you really like to have it over there because it's kind of in the way here, you can't just pick it up and move it like you can in most games. You have to destroy it and then rebuild it somewhere else. So
That
that would be
sounds
my biggest complaint about this game so far. There's no blood, no guts, no none of that. It's just weird.
hmm. That's interesting. I don't know how I feel about that because me and my daughter, we do play Pokemon together a lot. So I don't know how I'd feel being like, "Oh, look, you can shoot Pikachu and you can harvest his meat."
Yeah,
That's I don't know how I feel about that. But
and you can
I
put them
did.
to work building stuff for you and growing your food. And
Well, see, honestly, that's not that bad because
no,
they have a Pokemon show where like yeah, they help them do stuff. Like there's I remember there was one episode that I saw of the Pokemon animated series where um, Ash and them run into like a homeless kid who teaches his some kind of Pokemon to be like a pickpocket. So I mean, I can totally understand the reasonableness of teaching your Pokemon or pals to help with things. So that I don't have a problem with. Like, teaching a Pokemon or pal or whatever to help, with the workload, that's not unheard of. I mean, hell, even in real life, there's like service dogs that help blind people do stuff and, deaf people and, well, maybe not deaf people, but
yeah,
still, there are
none of
service
that is
animals.
the cringy part of it. It's the slaughtering the ones that you've captured and made your friends. That's a little awkward, I guess.
Yeah,
But
I
I
guess
mean, I don't know. It's weird, but it's still kind of fun and entertaining, and it's not a badly done game. I mean, I wouldn't be embarrassed to play. You know, how old is your oldest daughter now?
9.
9. Yeah, nine
Yeah.
to 10. It'd still be okay for her. Younger than that, no, I wouldn't play it with them yet. It's
I
just a
don't know.
little too
I don't know
too
how
much
she'll
for
feel
that.
about killing Pokemon. I just she is a little bit sensitive sometimes. Like if she sees like a dead animal on the side of the road, she'll be like, "Oh no!" So I mean,
Yeah. Well,
I
some
don't
of them
know.
are not exactly like cute or whatever, so you don't feel so bad about killing them. And some of them are like, "There's no way I'm killing this little squirrel-looking thing, just looking at you with little big eyes and all that." No, you can't kill this.
But
So you
that's
just
how
take its
you
health
make the
down.
legendary pelt.
Yeah. But also, you
But
take their health down, and you're trying to take your health down just enough that you can catch the thing, and you end up killing it by accident. Like, ah,
I mean that happens in regular Pokemon too, where you're trying to battle them, and because you have to do the same thing in Pokemon, you have to
right,
wear their health down so that they don't fight escaping the Pokeball, and you can catch them. But sometimes, yeah, you do accidentally knock them out, and then you're like, well, crap.
yeah,
And that's the weirdest thing about Pokemon. Like, I understand in Palworld you killed them so you can't catch them, but in Pokemon you knocked them out. But I'm like, so I can't throw a Pokeball at an unconscious Pokemon? Like,
nope,
it
evidently not
seems
with it.
like an
See,
easy catch.
you can't
But
catch these because they're dead, and
yeah,
there's like a ball of meat and leather next to them to pick up. You know what I mean?
you murdered the Pokemon.
You murdered the Pokemon, yes.
But yeah, I've
But I
seen
mean,
the.
all in all, still not bad. And you carry around with up to 5 of the little pals with you, and well, they're not all little. Some of them are big. You can ride them to get around the world faster, and you can throw them out there to fight for you, which you really
Okay.
have to use them, especially on the bosses. You're not killing
Yeah.
that boss on your own.
Yeah. So I mean that's cool. It's like a Pokemon alternative, like
Yeah,
Pokemon for adults.
I mean,
Um,
and you can multiplayer it too. So like, you could come into my world, and you, me, and your daughter could all kill Pokemon together.
Dude, you realize that a lot of this stuff that you're talking about was all groundwork laid down by Pokemon,
Oh, I'm
but yeah,
sure.
but yeah. The funniest thing is I've saw YouTube videos where they're comparing the image of a Pokemon to the image of a related pal, and it's like so close. It's like one has zigzags going this way, whereas the other one has zigzags going this way, and it's like it's literally the same thing.
Yeah.
And I've heard that yeah, Nintendo is aware of it, but they're not taking action yet.
Right.
or maybe it's not Nintendo, maybe it's Game Freak, but one of them that owns Pokemon. Um, they're aware of it, and like they said that I think on Twitter that they're aware of a game that's using a lot of their likeness and everything, and they're like researching appropriate action. So I don't know if the hammer's going to come down on Palworld, but it might go the way of Flappy Bird, where if you have Palworld downloaded, it might make your console super valuable. But
Hey, who knows? Also,
interesting.
it might not be worth it to them to go after it. They might actually make people more interested in Pokemon as well. Like, I was not a Pokemon player, but if the Pokemon games are similar to this, I might enjoy it more. I just didn't realize.
Lastly, um, as I mentioned in the beginning of the show, when I said Mr. Beast broke my heart, yeah, I was recently watching a video of Mr. Beast, and I was watching it with my daughter, the 9-year old, and we were looking at it on the computer because I was also doing some other stuff, work related stuff, and I was looking in the description of the show, and I noticed it said apply for a job with Mr. Beast, and I was like, hmm. Now, Ray, have you ever seen Mr. Beast?
No, I'm not familiar with Mr. Beast at all, so what is this show even about?
So it's pretty interesting. Mr. Beast was originally a video game clip streaming show, kind of like what we're trying to do, but it eventually devolved into just general entertainment. And they'll do challenges where like the last person to lift their hand off this Lamborghini gets it, stuff like that. Little challenges, stuff like that. I think the most recent one we watched was one about every day you lasted in a convenience store, just a fully stocked convenience store, but you're the only person in there and you can't leave. Every day you get $1,000, and a guy stayed there for like 45 days, got like 45
Jeez.
grand. But eventually he started to run out of food and stuff, and he was like setting things on fire and whatnot. But like driving a forklift into things as like bowling. Oh, and the other thing in that video is every once in a while, I think every day, Mr. Beast would come in and take stuff away. Like I think the first day he would take one shopping cart full of stuff, the second day two shopping carts, etc., etc. And so not only are you eating and consuming food, but you're also having to give it away to earn the next $1,000. But anywho, in the description, there's a link to work for Mr. Beast. And I clicked the link and I looked, and I think there was like 3 or 4 jobs that were available. And the majority of these jobs were listed in North Carolina. I'm assuming that's where the Mr. Beast shows and everything are based out of. And unfortunately, I don't live in North Carolina. I live in Florida. But there were some remote jobs that were listed there. And I applied to each one of those. And um, yeah, I got rejected harder than a kid with acne on prom night.
Man,
but but yeah, uh, like so I was a little bit sad because I was like, hey, I have a podcast, I do video editing, because I was thinking how awesome would that be? Because again, I know you don't know this, Ray, but Mr. Beast treats his staff so well, because in a lot of the videos they'll be in there with him, and he'll be like, oh, like I think there was one episode where one of his friends, who is a major person on the show, he like crashed his car, so instead he replaced it with like a brand new Tesla or a brand new Lamborghini or whatever. So I mean, I would totally be fine with that. And I even heard this rumor that for his staff in North Carolina, he bought a neighborhood and they just lived there
wow.
for free. So he just bought a neighborhood for all of his crew. And I'm like, I love that kind of work generosity. I would love to work for him. But no.
Right?
No. I wonder, like, part of me wonders if they even like looked at our channel and saw and they actually judged it on that, or if they just went with the first person with like a cool video and cool intro and stuff like that and really good video editing, which we do not have. We are
Well,
definitely on a shoestring budget, but
right. And we're still learning all this stuff. We're still pretty new. So he probably wanted somebody more experienced. And I mean, he's up there in the echelons already. But hey, maybe one day we'll be buying our staff a neighborhood. I would do that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, still, it would have been cool to like be able to work with him and kind of like cross promote, be like, "Hey, come check out our channel too," because Mr. Beast, I think, is like rated number 2 in YouTube. So like, out of all the people with subscribers, I think the only one that has more than him, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, T Series, but it just so happens it's an Asian market, and it's all like videos, music videos. So it's like MTV as a YouTube channel, except it's Asian. And yeah, so they have the highest subscription amount, but number 2 to that is Mr. Beast.
Huh.
And
That's
so
pretty
yeah,
cool.
he's like Mr. YouTube.
We could
So
be the Mr. Beast in the Asian market, though, because, that was one of the things at Podfest that we talked to a guy about. He's needing content to go over there because I guess they have a shortage of content.
hey, I'd be
And
fine
who
with that.
knows? Maybe we'll try it out.
I'd, I'd be fine with that, being Mr. Asian Beast.
Mr. Asian Beast.
Mr.
Sure.
Striped Tiger. Uh, but uh, but yeah, that's pretty much all there is to that story. It's just kind of got my hopes up about working for Mr. Beast, and I would love for him to be like, "Oh, did you have a bad day at work, Michael? Oh, that's too bad. Here's 50 grand. Oh, thank you. My day's so much better now."
Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't do that all the time.
If you watch those videos, man, you would think he does.
I'm gonna have to
But
check it out. Just because it sounds interesting now.
it definitely is. And their video editing is amazing. Like when they cut to things, like when they cut from like one thing to another, they'll do a little explosion. Like they just left that island and blew it up as they left. It's kind of entertaining. That was their most recent video about islands. Like they went
Hmm.
to a $1 island, which I mean it was literally just like a puddle in the by the shore, and to a $250 million island. And I
Wow.
mean, they had people waiting hand and foot. They had like jet skis and boats and submarines and all that stuff. It's really cool. You should. Why
Yeah, I'll
aren't I
check it out.
working for Mr. Beast? I'm promoting him. If you're watching Mr. Beast, are you sure? I mean, I can help promote. I mean, I'll get our 15 subscribers over to you.
Right?
But yeah,
Or maybe he'll do us a favor and promote us. That'd be awesome.
yeah. If even if we got okay, so if he has, I think 20 million subscribers, even if we just got 1% of that, that's 200,000 subscribers. That would be ridiculous. Then, if we had 200,000 subscribers, yeah, we're giving away an Xbox every month. We're giving away a PS5 every month. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe and comment on our YouTube channel or the podcast app, whichever you're using, depending on how you're watching or listening to us. Don't forget to follow us on our socials. We have Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and we're also launching TikTok shorts, so be on the lookout for those. You can also check out our website, justbecausegaming.com, where you can see all of our podcasts, game reviews, upcoming game releases, and everything that's going on. You can also support us by getting merch at the website or by going to Patreon. And you'll also get some free swag there, like t-shirts, stickers, all kinds of little goodies. But other than that,
Yep. Thanks for joining us, and please tune in again and tell your friends. Have a good one.
all right, peace.